this video presentation, you will witness 4 different types of speech, which only revolves with the topic COVID-19. I am proudly presenting to you our group work. Without further ado, let's begin.
What is COVID-19? The COVID-19 is a disease caused by a new strain of coronavirus. CO stands for corona, V for virus, and D for disease. Formerly, this disease was referred to as 2019 novel coronavirus or 2019 nCoV. Coronavirus are a family of viruses that can cause respiratory illness in humans. They get their name, corona, from the many crown-like spikes on the surface of the virus. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, Middle East respiratory syndrome, MERS, and the common cold are examples of coronaviruses that cause illness in humans. The new strain of coronavirus, COVID-19, was first reported in Wuhan, China in December 2019. The virus has since spread to all continents except Antarctica. Coronaviruses, like the new COVID-19 outbreak that began in China, cause mild severe respiratory illness, including death. COVID-19 has since spread worldwide. The best preventive measures include wearing a mask, staying 6 feet apart, washing your hands often, avoiding sick people, keeping your hands away from your face, and getting adequate rest and nutrition. What causes COVID-19? COVID-19 is caused by infection with the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2 virus strain. When was COVID-19 first identified? On 31 December 2019, World Health Organization was informed of cases of pneumonia of unknown cause in Wuhan City, China. A novel coronavirus was identified as the cause by Chinese authorities on January 7, 2020, and was temporarily named 2019 nCoV. What are the possible modes of transmission of COVID-19? Transmission of SARS-CoV-2 can occur through direct, indirect, close contact with infected people through infected secretion such as saliva and respiratory secretions, or their respiratory droplets, which are expelled when an infected person coughs, sneezes, talks, and sings. How does coronavirus kill? The new coronavirus latches its spiky surface proteins to receptors on healthy cells, especially those in your lungs. Specifically, the viral proteins bust into cells through ACE2 receptors. Once inside, the coronavirus hijacks healthy cells and takes command. Eventually, it kills some of the healthy cells. How does COVID-19 affect the body? COVID-19 seems to be able to attack cells that line your blood vessels. Aside from heart issues, it can also cause blood clots that lead to a stroke or pulmonary embolism. People who are seriously ill with COVID-19 often have much more of the substance doctors call D-dimer in their blood that signals more blood clots. What happens to your lungs with coronavirus? In critical COVID-19, about 5% of total cases, the infection can damage the walls and linings of the air sacs in your lungs. As your body tries to fight, your lungs become more inflamed and fill with fluid. This can make it harder for them to swap oxygen and carbon dioxide. Why does COVID cause shortness of breath? The coronavirus kills the little construction cells that make the coating. A person with COVID-19 can't get enough air because their lung cells are missing their helpful coating. That's why COVID-19 patients are experiences shortness of breath. How does the new coronavirus spread from person to person? COVID-19 is likely spread, number one, when the virus travels in respiratory droplets, when an infected person cough, sneeze, talk, sing, and breathe near you within 6 feet. This is thought to be the main way COVID-19 is spread. Number two, when the virus travels in small respiratory droplets that linger in the air for minutes to hours from an infected person who is more than 6 feet away or has since left the space. This method of spread is more likely to occur in enclosed spaces with poor ventilation. Number three, from close contact, touching, or shaking hands with an infected person. Number four, by touching surfaces that the virus has landed on, then touching your eyes, mouth, or nose before washing your hands. COVID-19 enters your body through your mouth, nose, and eyes directly from the airborne droplets or from transfer of the virus from your hands to your face. The virus travels to the back of your nasal passages and mucous membrane in the back of your throat. It attaches to cells there, begins to multiply, and moves into lung tissue. From there, the virus can spread to other body tissues. Governments, health agencies, researchers, and healthcare providers are all working together to develop policies and procedures to limit the spread of this virus both globally and from individual to individual. How long is a person infected with COVID-19 considered contagious? Researchers are still learning about COVID-19. What is known is that people infected with COVID-19 can spread the virus to others before experiencing symptoms themselves, while people are still asymptomatic. Once you do have symptoms, the CDC says you are no longer contagious 10 days after your symptoms began. Who is most at risk of getting COVID-19? Persons at greatest risk of contracting COVID-19 are first, people who live in or have recently traveled to any area with ongoing active spread. Second, people who have had close contact with a person who has a laboratory confirmed or a suspected case of COVID-19 virus. Close contact is defined as being within 6 feet of an infected person for a cumulative total of 15 minutes or more over a 24-hour period. Third, people over age 60 who have pre-existing medical conditions or a weakened immune system. What are the symptoms of the novel coronavirus or COVID-19 infection? The CDD says you may have coronavirus if you have these symptoms or combination of symptoms. Number 1, fever or chills. Number 2, cough. Number 3, shortness of breath or difficulty. Number 4, tiredness. Number 5, muscle or body ache. Number 6, headaches. Number 7, new loss of taste or smell. Number 8, sore throat. Number 9, congestion or runny nose are possible. Symptoms may appear between 2 and 14 days after exposure to the virus. Children have similar, but usually milder, symptoms than adults. Older adults and people who have severe underlying medical conditions like heart and lung disease or diabetes are at high risk of more serious complication from COVID-19. How is coronavirus diagnosed? COVID-19 is diagnosed with a laboratory test. Your healthcare provider may collect a sample of your saliva or swab your nose or throat to send for testing. How long should I self-isolate? According to current CDC recommendations, you should self-isolate until you've met all three of the following criteria. Number 1, it's been 10 days since your symptoms first appeared. Number 2, you've not had a fever for 24 hours and you've not used fever-lowering medications during this time. Number 3, your COVID-19 symptoms have improved. While at home, ideally self-isolate within separate room of your home if possible to limit interaction with other family members. How can I prevent getting the novel coronavirus? Right now, the best defense to prevent getting COVID-19 is to follow some of the same steps you would take to prevent getting other viruses, such as the common cold or the flu. Number 1, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, especially before eating and preparing food, after using the bathroom, after wiping your nose, and after coming in contact with someone who has a cold. Number 2, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth to prevent the spread of viruses from your hands. Number 3, cover your mouth and nose with a tissue when sneezing and coughing or sneeze and cough into your sleeve. Throw the tissue in the trash. Wash your hands afterward. Never cough or sneeze into your hands. Number 4, avoid close contact within 6 feet with those who have cough, cold, or are sick. Stay home if you are sick. Number 5, if you are prone to sickness or have a weakened immune system, stay away from large crowds of people. Follow the directions of your healthcare authorities, especially during outbreaks. Number 6, clean frequently used surface such as doorknobs and countertops with a virus-killing disinfectant. Number 7, use hand sanitizers that contain at least 60% alcohol if soap and water are not available. Number 8, greet people with a friendly gesture instead of shaking hands. Number 9, get enough sleep, eat a healthy diet, drink plenty of liquids, and exercise if you are able. These steps will strengthen your immune system and enable you to fight off infections easier. To avoid spreading of COVID-19, wear your face mask, wear your face shield, observe social distancing, and wash your hands. And always pray, trust to our God because He knows everything. And keep safe, everyone. God bless you.
As a citizen of the Philippines, I am proud to present to you myself, Billy Joe P. Grado, as one of the speakers. The coronavirus is deadly serious, shrinking the health of individuals, about the companies, municipalities in the world. The news is full of stories of sickness, job loss, disappointment, lockdowns, shortage of food and death. There's no shortage of bad news when it comes to COVID-19. The coronavirus hit us by surprise and consumed us within months. Nobody predicted that it would kill so many people, force countries to lock down, shut school and public places, and put our life on hold. It hit us, and now it's everywhere. It made we, it made the whole world bleed and spreading like wildfire. It impacting our ability to productive and engage in our work, exposure to all this negativity. It's making even the most optimistic among us feel frustrated and even depressed. Making matters worse, this negativity is highly contagious. We're taking major precaution to protect our physical health, so why do we resist protecting ourselves from things that can harm our mental health? Part of the reason comes from a belt and negativity bias we human being possess. My friends with whom I have countless memories with left in 1 second. The exam that I have been preparing for months got postponed and we are suddenly left with this void and at the same time this mess. Like every student, I have no idea what will happen to status of my exams and studies and will I ever be able to properly graduate, to hug my teachers and genuinely say thank you. Instead of drowning ourselves in problems, why focus on the things that will make us still productive despite of COVID-19? We all knew that then this pandemic started our life changes fast as lightning. Encourage yourself to be productive and flexible. Motivate someone that they can do another things that will make them happy. Despite of the pandemic, you can motivate people in the simplest ways. Show humanity or focus on the stories that remind you of the goodness of humanity, the power of human connection. If some work is postponed or cancelled or if you've opportunity been furloughed or even laid out, you surely have less well, but you can do have more time. How can you spend the time in a way that will bring you joy and happiness? Now and for the future, back when you were working overtime and long for a break, who were you missing? What do you wish you could do in order to restore the balance in your life? Fill your time with, with reaching out to people you love, or dabbling in things you have always wanted to try, learn a language, reconnect with old friends, develop a new meditation habit. Nobody saw this coming and maybe you are feeling a bit under the weather. Take some time to adapt to this new situation, accept it all, talk about it with your friends and loved ones. Remember that you can always share your worries and feeling with fellow students who are indeed going through the same route path as you are. Have a routine. Getting a routine during this time is of the most important things you can do yourself. Honestly, I do not know a single student who is sitting at their desk for 12 consecutive hours. On top of everything, this is not healthy for you. Instead, try to dedicate around 6 to 7 hours each day to studying, but with much needed exercise in between your study session. Knowing how you start your everyday routine is very impactful for your motivation. Thank you.
These past 2 years, we are fighting a fatal virus that can kill and take our lives. We can call these past 3 years the most depressive years in our life. We lost a lot of our countrymen, especially our heroes who fought for us to stop this pandemic and to live normal again. My countrymen, we are facing a pandemic which can be traced where it started and we cannot predict when it will end. All we have to do is to face the following days with care and avoidance of getting infected. We are forced to live a life and we didn't want to. We are like prisoners of these years. We are imprisoned to become safe and continue to live, but not all of us are like that. People who were in the medicine field are sometimes forced to fight the enemy. They went to a war that has no insurance of returning back safe and sound. Some died and some are still fighting, but the question is, until when? The pandemic's victims are rising every day. The people are also dying every day due to this fatal pandemic. Being safe is the only thing we have and need to do. This pandemic is not a joke, everyone. This is not a threat either. It is a real thing that can take our lives, so be careful. Follow every government protocols and advices. Our government is the only thinking about our safety. So please just follow. There are over 500,000 cases of COVID-19. Please don't make it any higher. If you're not going to do something essential outside, then stay at home. Some of us doubt every report about COVID-19. We will have trust issues with the government, but set aside and think of your family and yourself. We are in grave danger if we continue doubting the reports. Reports are just a paper published into media, but it doesn't mean that we have to be careless and do what we want like COVID-19 is not present around. COVID-19 is lurking and continuously finding its next victims. Thanks God. Vaccines for the virus is now invented. Countries are investing all that they have just to vaccine their people, but in our country, we are asked to pay for the vaccine. Why? Let's just say that our country is the greatest debt could ever imagine. Additional to that, our country's economy is depleting every day, but we are Filipinos. Not even a pandemic can kill our resilience and the instinct of survival. Every frontliners who died because of this pandemic, I thank you all. Thank you for the courage you have shown to us in order to save our countrymen's lives. Thank you for the unselfish love that you have given to our country, despite the fact that pandemic is fatal and contagious. To all people who lost life of their loved ones, be strong. Shedding tears is a part of these worldwide problems, but please be strong. All we want to see is how the pandemic ends. All we wish is everything to go back like how it used to be, where our only problem is how we survive today and the following days. The pandemic incapacitated us to live normal again. We tend to worry about getting infected or worse, dying. Systems in our country change and it is like impossible or returning back. We are like endangered wild animals, caught and put in an enclosure just to preserve its life. In this world, we can say the change is inevitable. We can stop the world from changing. Either we go with the change or stay at our traditional comfort zone. Changing ways is not a bad thing, though may be shocking at first, but you will soon be comfortable with it. In these past 3 years, under this pandemic, our ways of living are always changing. Some can cope up, some cannot. Some are culturally shocked, and some are open with the changes. We, Filipinos, are born fighters. We fight everything that blocks our way into our goals. Calamities and disasters are just a thing we laugh about. That's how positive Filipinos are. That's what we see in the old generation, and it ended becomes our traits too. We laugh out every bad situation we have experienced before, but please don't laugh what is happening now. It is a serious matter that we need to keep ourselves healthy. Praying for the safety of all is a must. You don't have to selfish in praying. Pray for all. Pray for our land to heal. Pray for our world to be clean. Our world is sustained by the pandemic. It is getting hard to wash away. Again, I will remind you to following every protocols, instruction, and demands of our government. Let's help our frontliners have their day off. They are exhausted and getting vulnerable to the virus. Stop being hard-headed and learn to follow the ordinance. It is not only for your safety, it is also for your family. Let this pandemic be a lesson to us. Listening is uneasy. To do so, please listen. Don't let your emotions take you. Don't let your gifts read your thoughts. Don't think and act something carelessly. Don't put your life at risk. If you are told to wear mask and face shield, then do it. If you are told to bring alcohol every time, then do it. Your life is worth protecting. Thank you.